Hi everyone, it's Sunday, November 10th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. In the United States market this week, steer prices were steady again. While some said it was a decent week of business, others were not so pleased. Sales might very well have been lower because packers are well sold, but buyers are not willing to pay more. Sales of regular weight 64, 66 pound heavy Texas steers were scant, but they logged prices as low as $25.50 and as high as $28. With regard to U.S. slaughter, the total last week was 651,000, and export sales for the week ending October 30th were lower at 562,600, and shipments were 576,500. In our observations this week, we take a look at how the market is what some people call stuck at steady and why that is, along with what the factors may be behind the more active interest of late. Turning to Europe, where editor Andrea Guolo says that most categories were stable with regard to prices. He says the English 36 plus ox continues to sell at 75 pence per kilo. With regard to cows, there was little news to report, with prices stable and little change expected in the coming weeks. In the bull sector, slaughter has resumed, and the cold weather will boost hide supplies because it also fuels meat consumption. All of this means that the situation should remain relatively unchanged over the next few weeks, but that might not be the case all the way through the rest of the year, he says. In his analysis this week, Andrea evaluates the slaughter situation as well as shipments to China. He also takes a look at the prices in the different hide sectors and what is supporting those prices or not. And he also looks at what's going on in footwear and what he learned from sources in the luxury sector in the Riviera del Brenta district in Italy this week. From South America, editor Ronald Guiel reports from Brazil that raw hide prices were again unchanged, with fresh hides continuing to sell at 59 cents in reals. The exchange rate, however, is becoming a real concern as the real is stronger against the dollar, bringing raw hides down to 14 US cents per kilo. TR1 was again steady at 46 to 48 cents per square foot, and Ronald says that there are some signs of recovery in the market, so you'll want to read what he has to say about that. In other news from Brazil, preliminary data for the month of October show that exports of hides and skins totaled 82.9 million US dollars, which is a little higher than September's total. But unfortunately, the increase came purely from volume and not value. More detailed data should be available later this week, so keep an eye on our reports for more on that. From elsewhere in Latin America, we have news on how the Brazilian footwear industry has profited from the U.S.-China trade dispute, the hit to the clothing and footwear sectors in Chile because of the turmoil taking place there, and efforts to boost the footwear sector in Peru. In Mexico, there are new regulations that have been passed for the overall standards for therapeutic footwear, and these will go into effect in November 2020. This gives producers and suppliers time to make the necessary changes to meet all the requirements. And again this week, I want to mention our international report, which included news this week about increased demand for African leather, as well as information about Japan's leather imports and the latest round of difficulties in the Indian leather sector. This is all in addition to the latest prices in the European market as well. So as a reminder, if you haven't taken a look at that report and all the countries it covers, you can always get a free trial to check it out. That's all we have for today. So until next week, good night from HideNet.